Going live. Okay, we're live. Great. Awesome. Welcome. Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Lovely northern Michigan, Marion. And today is the 29th of July, 2025. And the title of tonight's presentation is The Dog Days of Summer. I don't really know what that means exactly, but I do know what it means to me. Before we start into that presentation, let's go over a little bit of what has gone on lately. Tuesday. Today was about 88 degrees here. Got them. 88 degrees. Yesterday was about 92 degrees, and the day before that was 94, and it was hot. It was still on, let's see, what day was that? That would have been Sunday. It was very still, very, very hot. And, we hadn't climatized to it. So it hit pretty hard. Me anyway, it hit me pretty hard. And I was really feeling the dog days. I felt completely unmotivated, completely. When I thought about the most fun things that I like to do, I was kind of like, because moving is kind of not as much fun. And, I do the stuff that I got to do, like kill flies. But, as far as extra stuff, not feeling it so well. But our family is kind of back together. It's just me and Jill and the two youngest boys that are living here now. Rachel moved out during the wintertime, got married. So we're kind of in a different place. The week before last, Frank went to summer camp. So then it was just three of us. And that was kind of strange. And due to some unpleasant circumstances, not here, but at another farm, we're shouldering their share of custom chicken processing as well. So normally we process chickens 1 day a week, but for the foreseeable future, we'll be going 2 days a week, which, you can't complain. When you got work like that, you can't complain. But during the dog days of summer, it's a little harder. It's a little harder to do and not quite as much fun, right? So Frank and I milked today. Improvements are we finally made a decision on how we're going to cool milk. We looked at milk coolers. We've looked at these machines that suck water in, cool it, and then put it back out, like a cooling tank for plunging. We looked at ice machines, and then we looked at the cooling machines again, and we're back to ice machines. And one was supposed to show up here today, but it's a day late. So it will be here tomorrow, according to the email that they sent us. So we'll be getting an ice machine tomorrow. And I feel pretty good about that because it's an improvement. Although we're in the dog days of summer, we're making gains. For me, has been kind of difficult for the last 3 days. Kind of difficult. Where a lot of times I really enjoy my work, so I'm like, yep. Oh, let's go. Oh, I know where the tools are. They're over here. And, ready to go. But it has not been like that for me the last 3 days. I have about an hour window in the morning where I'm back to normal. Let's go. And then about the time I finish up milking, it's kind of like, it's going to be a long day, and it's the heat. I think it's other things too, because it's not just the heat. I've worked in very hot temperatures and never quite experienced this. But I think every summer I go through this. So there's a little bit of a anticlimactic feeling. Okay, where we've got the hay, the first cutting of hay in, and it's done. We have Tribe Day behind us, and it went really smooth. There's always a feeling of, you feel kind of, like it went by too quick, and maybe we should extend it to a month, that type of feeling, but you can't. And so you feel a little homesick, I think I do. And, you're just with your own crew. But I think it's like this across the board. I kind of notice it when I go out. People are kind of low keyed, I think. Anyway. So we got our milking done today. After that, what did we do after that? Oh, I had to use the separator today, and the separator pooched on me again. So I thought it was a good day to ride in the air conditioner. I took the motor out of it, and I took it down to a motor repair place. Then I went out and I went to a lake that I passed all the time, and I've always wanted to see if it would be a good place to go and do some recreation on. And yeah, looked like a pretty nice place. We'll probably take our canoe over there and then swim a little bit and have some fun. Could be doing that tonight, actually. That would be a good cure for the dog days. But the dog days of summer led me to think about things. And those things are, what direction are we going? What's our goal? How long can we do this? All the things that you don't think about when you're running hard and just having a good time, right? So some of those things I did think about that over the last few days, and they don't exactly lift you up, thinking, well, in 10 years I'm going to be 75. Those things kind of are a bit of a, not that of a great feeling, although by then we could have different technologies, and we might choose to live longer if we want to. I think we can live to 120. That's my feeling. So I did think about those things, and I also thought about, okay, well, how would this be? I try to step out of myself and not have my thought process clouded by a slight depression. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm just not feeling like getting after it, And so I step outside of myself, and I was able to do this morning with the boys. And they said, what do you want us to do after milking? And I said, well, I can't really think of anything. And they were looking at me like, gee, is that okay? I said, sometimes we gotta get rested up a little bit. So we got a big day tomorrow. We got chicken processing tomorrow, Wednesday. And so why don't we just call it a day here? You guys go up and work on what you want to work on your motorcycles. Go if you need to go someplace, do what you got to do. And then we'll pick it up tomorrow, and we'll really knock it out. But I did go through with some things with them. I said, if we take a vacation today, a vacation day today, if we do that, we're still producing beef. The cows are still out there grazing. They don't take a day off. They're still eating, they're still drinking, they're still producing beef. We're not doing anything to help them. We just kind of, hi. They don't care about us. And the milk cows are making their next load of milk for tomorrow, right? That's all happening without our hand. We are going to be processing, I think, the rest of our round 2 of chickens. Our round 3 of chickens is going out in chicken tractors. There's 70 of them out right now. And when we empty the tractors tomorrow, we'll be putting the rest of them out. And they function, their water's still running and their food is there. So they're all doing their thing. So the way that we've set this up is we can be away for a day and things still go. And although I wasn't away today, I wasn't really involved that much. And that may come as a surprise to people, but that's the way it goes sometimes. You just don't really feel like doing it. But things still continued. Oh, that's 3. Yeah, it's kind of fly season around here. I've been in the pool about 3 times today. Really enjoy that. That's been a big help when it's hot, when you can just strip down and get in the pool and bring your body temperature down. It gives you a boost. After the show tonight, I don't think I'm going to be doing much, right? Everything's done. And so I'm probably just going to watch the sun go down and call it good for the day. I kind of have that little bit tired feeling, like I will slide right into bed tonight early. That's how I'm feeling. So that's good. Everything is good. When you go through times like this, and maybe other people have them at different times of the year, I don't generally watch my shows that I do. So maybe you guys are going to tell me, well, you said that last January. Maybe I did. I don't know. But when you are feeling like this, you don't want to make any decisions. You really don't. You don't want to make any big decisions. You probably don't even want to say too much to the people around you. I was heading out to this lake today. It's not far off from my house, and I just haven't been there in a long time, like 15 years. And I remembered where it was and what it looked like and everything, but I wanted to see it again. And as I was cruising out there, I was noticing some of the homes that people have, nice homes, not mansions or anything, but just a nice, well-equipped home with a garage that's attached to the house, and then maybe a pole barn for doing stuff in. Nice lawns, and some people had gardens, this and that, and they were spaced out. They weren't like you couldn't see, from one you couldn't see another. This is out in the country. And I thought, wow, those guys don't have a lot of work to do all day. They can mow their lawn, manicure their bushes, and wash their cars out in the driveway. That would be cool. And because it was the dog days, I wasn't really appreciating my work. I wasn't really appreciating it because I wasn't really involved in it. And I started to kind of go down that road. I started to think that way. I thought, wow, the value of our land has really increased. If I just sold it, man, I could buy a really nice house outright, and then I would still be able to, just live and not have a ton of work to do every single day. Wouldn't that be nice? So I was in that fantasy world for a little while till I got home. It was kind of nice to drive around in my truck with air conditioning. And I got hold of myself and I thought, why would we go down that road? Why would we go down that road? Just because it's kind of a rough day and you're not really feeling it, not really grooving with it. Why go down that road? That almost sounds like a surrender to me as I think about it. But still, it's intriguing. It's intriguing to think about that. I always figured if I wasn't doing this and I had free time, I would like to buy cars that I like and really be able to take time with them and fix them up and paint them and just have them for a while, go places in them, and then maybe sell them and start over on a new one. There's certain cars that I really like from my childhood. I think I do. I did then. And so I've always thought I would do that. And that's kind of intriguing, to be in a nice environment with a concrete floor and shop tables and, a nice, my toolbox in there with my tools organized and not getting torn into by everybody. So I kind of think about that. Maybe air conditioned, heated in the wintertime with its own little bathroom. Wouldn't that be nice? A little picnic table inside that when Jill says, hey, it's lunchtime, she could bring it into the shop. I could wipe greasy hands off and sit there and eat a chicken salad sandwich. So this kind of, it is intriguing. It is intriguing. But then when I get back here and I see the work that we've done, I'm not quite there where I've snapped out of it. I'm not snapped out of it yet. I'm still feeling dog day-ish. But anyway, that's my thing today and for the last couple of days. If you guys have comments, I wouldn't mind, commenting on stuff that you guys have going on now. Is anybody else feeling the dog days of summer like I'm describing here? That'd be interesting to see if anybody else is going through that. But making big decisions on days like this, no. Like I thought about stopping and getting a tattoo. I thought, no, today's not a good day to get a tattoo. Not at all. So I knew I had to do the show tonight, and that usually makes me feel pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. I just got out of the pool. Yeah, things are going good. Things are going good. I feel like I'm going to cry any minute. So I wonder what's going on in your all's lives. The dog days of summer is not something I can really get into very much because there's not much to tell. It's just not very enthusiastic, not very Pied Piper-ish as I can be sometimes. I wonder what it would do if I got out of farming. I mean, wonder what that would do. I can see it now. So what's going on? What do we got on the horizon? Here, we've kind of decided for the next few weeks, we're just going to hone the blade and sharpen things up a little bit, continue to clean up and organize and fix a lot of little things that need to be fixed. On the horizon, we have 2 good-sized projects that have to be done before winter. And we've got to build 2 structures, actually. And so we haven't even started on those. But one of the structures will be up behind the barn, and that's going to be for the milk cows to all be able to get in. It's going to be sort of an open face structure that breaks the wind from the southwest. And we'll be able to bed that, and they'll be able to lay around in there when it's cold, because there's too many of them now to get in the barn. And by the time that winter rolls around, I should have my bullpen built, and that is going to be next to the barn. So we kind of inquired today about preg testing our cows and being able to do that in-house. In the past, we were relying on other people to do that for us, and come to find out we can send a sample of their milk in to a company, and they can run a quick test on it and let you know if your cow is pregnant or not. And then we just match it up with the dates that she was last in heat. So we should be able to have a pretty good idea when our calves are coming. So, yeah, we moved in that direction pretty good today. We've made some gains this week. That's only Tuesday. Our days when we process chickens, like tomorrow, that's a long day. We've got over 200 birds to do, and but we do have our full crew. So, that's the best you can ask for. And then again on Friday. And, they get a day's break in between so people can kind of lick their wounds a little bit. and then right back on it on Friday. But what it means for the farm is it's income. So you may not want to do it, but it's not something where we feel as though we have a choice because we need the income to continue to build. And that's what we're going to do. Yeah, that makes me feel better. Continue to build. Continue to build. Oh, I know what it must be. It must be that we don't feel like the world's going to come to an end. Maybe I need to start thinking about that. The zombie apocalypse is going to happen. In the news, it's a crazy world out there. It's kind of boring to me now, like one story after the next. And I don't know, I'm not that into it anymore. I used to really kind of thrive on it. Or times of the day, I would want to see what's going on. And the good guys are winning now and the bad guys are mad. I didn't really have the energy for it today. I kind of listened to music, and that calms the inner beast. So let's see. What do we got here? Is anybody saying anything? Abundant Life Coach. Hey there, everyone. Hope you're staying cool. Oh, well, that's Jill. And Jill is cool. Keith S. When it's hot, it makes me want to just go to the lake. Well, you should just go to the lake. That's why we have a pool. It's therapeutic. And Keith is saying Jamie's down at 2 tubes and she's doing good. Wanted for the infection, the other 2 to bypass the kidney issue. Okay. So Keith's wife has had some problems and spent some time in the hospital, and apparently she's coming around, which is good. I hope you guys get an air conditioner in your house for. Yeah, Keith says again, this coming up Tuesday, she gets one to remove down. She will still have to go for kidney surgery. Okay, well, good. You should, if it's a good size stone, you should see if you can get them to give it to you, and you can make a necklace out of it for her. Or a pair of earrings, little kidney stone earrings. Might catch on. You never know. What else? What else do we need to talk about? Let's see. Oh, I did plant. I have a little garden that's kind of, I don't know, I guess I'd call it mine. It's a little place. It's a little spot. And I used to have a fence around it to keep baby pigs in. And when I have the rototiller on, I just hit it and keep it open. And I did a compost pile on it this spring. And I really love intricate vegetable gardening. Not that I have done much of it. I like the thought of it. And years back, we went to somebody else's place and they had trellises that they had made out of calf panels. Calf panels are 16 feet long, and you put a stake in on either side, and then 5 feet over, you put another stake, and then you bend it over. And you can put several of them, and it makes sort of a tunnel. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And we've done a little bit of it here, but I never really saw it through quite as well as I wanted to. We had good luck. We grew green beans on one, and it seemed to work pretty good. But I saw on the computer that they had one where guys planted pickling cukes. And, cucumbers put out a lot of vine, and it went right over the top. And on the inside, it made some shade. So it was a perfect environment for the roots. And so the ground didn't get very dried up. And it kept the cukes up off the ground. And they kind of hung through this trellis. And you could walk through it and pick cukes and eat them. And so I really wanted to do that. And it got a little late. So I finally did it. Last Saturday is when I put it in. Low energy day too, it was Was it Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday evening. And Jill came out and helped me plant some of the seeds. And I just went out there before I came here to turn my little sprinkler array on. And I noticed, oh, little cuke seeds are coming out. Now, I'm thinking that we've still got enough summer to get cucumbers going. I think, what do you think, Keith? Do we have enough summer? We got all of August, and then September is pretty good growing weather. It really is. I mean, you're getting cool at night, but you're having some warm days, and the plants should be well established by then. But anyway, I did it, and I put it in, and I also planted some daikon radishes out there because I really like eating them. Yesterday, I planted one of my pig fields. You may have seen a video that I did to explain it on Baker's Green Acres Facebook page. I do videos on there pretty regularly, and they get shared over onto YouTube, I think, and over onto my page, the Mark Baker page. I think Jill does that. I'm not exactly sure. I know she's told me, but I'm not exactly sure. But I did that, and I incorporated my spreader in with it. And my spreader is made out of a fuel tank. It's a 300-gallon tank with a hatch on it that I can fill with compost. And then it's got a bunch of holes in it, and the compost leaks out as I'm rolling it along. I pull it behind the tractor. So I did that yesterday. I got quite a bit of planting done yesterday. That was definitely good. Yeah, so it's not like we haven't been doing anything. It's just I don't have that euphoric feeling about farming and all that stuff. That's it comes and goes. Mostly comes, but right now it's gone. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I wonder if there's anybody in this chat that needs feed for their pigs, because I'm getting a lot of bread from the bread company, and I don't use a lot this time of the year. So we got to kind of match it up with people that can use it. So if you need some of it, let me know. All right, Just Me is saying, cracking open a chicken egg, and there is a couple of red splotches in it, and there is no rooster. I heard that's normal, but how do you prevent that? How do you make the eggs better? I don't know. I really don't know. I know that I do this thing, and I guess what it comes down to is pattern recognition, right? So and sometimes I'll call it the common denominator. All right. So of all the processes that we do here, what is one process? I ask myself the question, what is one process that we can fit into every other process? And that fit is going to give us a gain. What is it? Well, here it's biochar. I started making biochar many, many years ago. It's a long story, but we've gotten pretty good at it. I have a pretty good charcoal maker, and scrap wood is not a problem. It might be coming here in the future because the Amish mill where I used to get my scrap wood from burnt to the ground. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, burnt to the ground. I don't know if they're going to rebuild it or not. But I make biochar, and then we grind it. We make some available in the store, but really only for feed purposes. When it comes to applying biochar to your property, your land, it can be done a lot of different ways. And I was thinking yesterday, gee, we use it in a lot of different applications, whole lot of different applications. So we can top dress the milk cows' little feed ration that they get to bring them, coax them in the morning. You just put a handful of char on there, and they'll just eat right down through it. So, yeah. So I'm a microphone. I gotcha. I hate flies. So, and then when it comes to feeding the pigs, we open bread and it sits in a bin inside of a building, and then I can just go and scoop it up. Well, I can just throw a 5-gallon bucket of biochar up on there, and it gets mixed in with feed, and then it gets dumped to the pigs. They eat it, they pass it through, and there you go. It goes to both groups of chickens that we have. We have laying hens, they get it, and also the broilers that we do. I think this year our number is going to be about 1,200 that we've done. I think something like that, or maybe 900. We're getting groups of 300 or 400. I'm not sure. Probably 300. Yeah, so 900 birds. And you get a tremendous result from that. So it's something that we would always do. I'm surprised that more people don't do biochar. It goes into the gardens. It goes into the compost piles. It goes on the floor in the milk parlor. We dust the floor down with it, and then the cows are coming in, they're stepping all over it, and then manuring it and urinating on it. So it's widely used here, and it's a tremendous asset to fertility. Tremendous. Oh, it goes in the outhouse. Handful goes in the outhouse bucket, and then that bucket goes in the compost pile. So, yeah, nothing really gets wasted. All right. Well, Keith says, wait a minute. Well, I was going to say, just me, the first thing that I would throw at that, if I saw that and I thought there was a problem, I don't think it is a problem. I think it's just a function of chickens laying eggs, because I have seen that. I've seen that quite a bit. We do have roosters, but I have seen it. It doesn't really faze me if I'm making fried eggs or something. Just eat them. But the first thing that I would throw at it would be biochar. But I don't think there's anything wrong with those chickens, honestly, because I have seen that. And when I hear it, it doesn't make me go, ooh, it doesn't. Keith says, I open up the fence so the pigs can go to the other feed and they're not moving. Okay. Yeah, they're hot too. Yeah. And Keith also says, yes, I will have time to get my pickling cukes. We prefer the pickling cukes for just walking through, grabbing a few of them and eating them. That's a real energy booster in a day. Just Me is saying, where do they sell biochar? I see it online every now and then. Every now and then we're checking the price of what we're selling to see if we're in the ballpark. And like I said, we really don't sell it in bulk. No one has ever really asked for it, and that would be a lot of work. We grind it, and then we inoculate it. We put it in 3-gallon bags with a nice little sticker on it that says 100% Baker's Green Acres certified biochar, and put it in the store. And I don't think there's any in there right now. So I'm a little remiss in my duties. But usually in the spring is when we move a lot of that. We had a lady, she came again today with a load of chickens, but she had brought a load of chickens, I think about 3 weeks ago. And Jill was like, ooh, these chickens are really sick. They've got coccidiosis, and that's why they're so small and stinky. And you're going to want to give them some of this. And so I think she took a bag and then fed it. And the batch that she brought today were fine. They look great. Trader Joe's sold eggs like that. Shame on Trader Joe's. Yeah, if you want biochar from us, you can just go to the website and request it, and then we'll grind some up and inoculate it and get it to you. We can do it. It's not really that expensive if you're going to be using it for your chickens, because you really don't use all that much. I would say a bag or two would last you the whole season, depending on how many chickens you have. And see, what you're doing is if your chickens are free rangers, they're eating it and then they're depositing that manure all over your yard. So you're getting biochar in, and it's not just biochar, it's biochar that's inoculated. It's got the gut bacteria of the chicken. The biochar it's got several properties, but the one that I know of and know well of and understand is that it's very porous, so it holds moisture. And I've seen this. We've had biochar that was submerged in water, like it got snowed on and then the snow melted, and it was soaked. And you really can't grind soaking biochar because it makes like a mud, like a black mud. And so we drained the water out of this tub and thought, well, it should dry out. It didn't dry out. So then we put it out on a piece of tin in the sun, and it took a long time to dry that out. So it does retain moisture really well, but it's very porous. So any of the microbiological life that you need in your soil can take up residence in it, and it's a good, safe place for it. So I made a video yesterday about spreading compost on my number 2 pig field, and I'm making the video, and it was so hot out that my phone quit, right? And I thought, why would you spread compost when it's this hot? That's dumb. You're basically taking that compost, which is alive, and laying it out in the sun and letting it get baked to death. So that was a bad idea, and I wound up picking that project up about 8:30 last night. I worked for about an hour doing it, and I made another video and I explained how incorrect that is, right? It happens. All right, anything else? Because maybe we'll just end it early tonight and I can go get back to my pity party. Anything else? Anything else? I'll put this out. You never know. We are looking for more people to participate in our herd shares. We've lost a couple customers lately. We have one customer that went to the Amish because they can do it cheaper, but they don't refrigerate their milk. So she'll be back. She'll be back. And they're not big on fly control either. So she'll be back, but the prices go up. Once you go to the Amish and come back, we boost the prices on you. It's like that with our chicken processing too. We had a guy move in the neighborhood here, Amish guy, and he opened up a herd share. And it's probably my fault because he came over one day and he just wanted to introduce myself. And so what do you do here? He says. And like a fool, I showed him everything. And, well, what makes the most money? Well, herd shares for sure. Oh, okay. What do you sell it for? That's their shtick. But that's okay. I mean, there's plenty of room in herd shares. The herd shares is the thing that I like to talk about the most because I think it is probably one of the more exciting aspects of small-scale agriculture. And it's a way that a person can actually make a good living in this, right? A good living, right? So I'm excited about that. We're just starting. I mean, we've been at it for a while, but it's a process of building a customer base, learning cattle breeding, learning how to milk, learning how to master all the equipment, mastering a place that you can do it in, managing manure, grazing, securing your feed, hay, cutting your own hay. So it's a process of a lot of components. None of them are brain surgery. Not one of them. Every one of them can be learned. And then you just got to do it. every day. That's your first thing that you do. You milk the cows, secure the milk, done. And the way that we've done it that I am really excited about is it comes from the milk house in jars, goes directly in the store. People wing in the driveway, leave their car running, kids in car seats if they don't want to get out, zip in, get their milk, zip back out and go, right? So they don't have to talk to us if they don't want to. You know, we're not keeping the milk in the house, so they don't have to get anybody. You know, it's just an open air. Well, it's not open air, but it's an open little store that these people are all welcome to go and get their milk. So it's a nice flow of nice little cash flow that goes through, which is very helpful in running a business. You know, if you've always got cash available to you, that's really nice, really nice. The Ghost, 7 viewers, only 3 likes. WT, you know, I see that WTF all the time. What does that mean anyway? Yeah, you guys could all give me a like. You could give me 7 likes. I mean, I'm going to sign off early if I don't get some likes. How about a super chat? Give me a super chat, huh? There was a day. You know, this is kind of like doing my videos. It doesn't really matter to me how many participants there are, because let's say that all of you guys lived close and on Tuesdays you all came over and we sat around a picnic table and yucked it up and drank coffee and had fun. You know, would I say, well, I'm not going to go? There's only 6 people coming over. You know, it doesn't matter if it's 6 or 66 or 666. Doesn't really matter. Well, maybe not 666. Maybe I wouldn't like that number. But yeah, and it's like when you make videos, or when I make videos, I say this, I'm not a content creator. Like, I don't make a living off of YouTube. I do it. I do it for my own enjoyment. I have fun. So that's why I do it. And this channel started out because we were trying to give an alternative when people would call here and say, hey, is Mark there? And I'd get on the phone. Yeah, so I got this turkey and he's got a blotch on his back. What is that? You know, and so the kids would call me in to take a phone call, and it's like, I don't know. And I didn't want to say, and I don't care. I want to see people thrive in this lifestyle, for sure. For sure, I want to see that. So it became a way to knock down the interruptions that were happening, especially when the kids would give out my cell phone. And then I had some people that were ringing my phone a lot with questions. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I was just calling to see what's going on. What's going on? How you doing? Oh, nothing. I'm just nothing. I'm not doing anything. That's why I called you. So we couldn't do that. That didn't work. It had to be more formal. Like, so we open this up. We got a chat on the side. You got a question for me or something to comment. All right, we can talk about it. And it's just for 1 hour a week. And that's easy. That's real easy. Okay, the Ghost is saying, WTF, I think it's in the Bible somewhere. Huh. I don't know. I've not seen that. Maybe I'll have to look in the index. Who said it, you know? You know who said it? All right. How about that? 7 people, 7 likes. How about that? All we had to do was ask. Thumbs up. All right. You got 7 people. If every one of you gave me a super chat of $10 or 20, why not 20? Let's live large. That would be, you know, $140. There you go. Why not? Who's first? Which, anyway, that's it. I'm just babbling on and being dopey. Maybe that would be a good thing to break the dog days of summer if I had some comrades to sit with me and yuck it up. Let's see. Is there anything else? I don't want to miss anything. We are not doing a pastured poultry class this year. We are not. In years past, we've done it, and it was a full day, and we'd cut it off at 25 people, but each person would get to butcher 2 chickens, and it didn't really seem, it was just too many people, too much going on. So what Jill did was she came up with an idea where if you want to be in the pastured poultry business, you can get on the website and you can get a seat for a Wednesday or a Friday when we're working. And then we will move you around from position to position. Coffee is on the house. We like to see people work fast. And we'll move you in any position that you feel comfortable. If it's somebody that doesn't feel comfortable killing, then we can just skip that position. But you will have enough repetition in the things that need to be done, and there's no pressure on you because you're kind of off to the side. And there's people that are working there, and they're usually just have their head down and doing their job. And if you have a question, hey, how do you get these lungs out of here? And they'll just, it's like this. And I can almost guarantee that night you will be processing chickens in your dreams. You ever have that happen? And you will know how to do it. You won't think you know. You won't need a refresher ever. You will know how to do it. And so it's worked out pretty good. Instead of having 25 people here, 1 or 2, and it seems to work out good. If we had more than 2, I think we would spread them out a little bit. And then you have lunch with us. So that's a good time to ask questions and just kind of see how this place operates on a daily basis. We got a thing going that's pretty neat. One of our hired guys, he was a milk customer, and he said he would love to get some part-time work here. So I started him out opening bread in the wintertime, and he did fine with that. I mean, he'd stay there as long as you wanted him to, and he was tickled pink to do it. And then we found out that he's a trained chef. So he has been cooking lunch for us on Wednesdays and Fridays. So instead of Jill having to break off and go make lunch, or somebody break off and get a sandwich to bring back, we cut Brian loose. He goes into the commercial kitchen that we have now built out, does his thing, calls us for lunch. We come out, everything's on the table. We eat in about a half an hour, and then we're right back to work. And then he cleans up everything, puts everything away, cleans up the kitchen, boom, done. Takes him about, an hour to do it. From start to finish, I think it's taken him about 2 hours to make lunch and clean up, which is really nice. I mean, you spread that out over how much time it takes. And the way it was working before was Jill would break off, or Rachel, and make lunch. We would eat and then pile the dishes up, and the dishes sat until we were done processing chickens for the day, which officially ends at 7 p.m. because we have to get them all loaded out too. So it officially ends at 7 p.m. And then you come in the house and you're dead, and you got a mountain of dishes to do, and pots and pans and stuff. That was not good. So this is way better, and it's working out really good. People are kind of excited to see what this guy's going to come up with. So, he's a trained chef. He left the job that he had before, and he's now working at a restaurant. And he made sure to keep his Wednesday and his Friday open, which I was impressed with that. So he'll be staying with us for a while. He stays over at the campground, saving money for something. Okay. That's it. Gary Rockwell, consulting call tomorrow night. Correct. Every other Wednesday night, we get together for a consulting call. Those of you who are Tribe Plus members, you're eligible to get a notification on your phone of our Zoom call. And it's just a time sort of like this, except your pictures are all up there too. And we can just converse about your homestead, what you're doing, ask questions. I learn a lot on that consulting call. Tomorrow night, I bet you anything, we're going to hear about Ann's puppies. I think she had 10 of them. That's what put humans on top. Divisions of labor. No man is an island. Okay. Okay. Yeah, true. I know no man is an island. We definitely need each other. I think it's hard to say what this is the age of. It's hard to say because we're in it, but it seems like the age of enlightenment. It seems that way because we're learning how much we've been misinformed on. How much and why. Now we're learning why we were misinformed. And it's understandable, you have the management class of people and they need to manage the masses, or they believe that that's their function. And so what else are they going to do? Are they going to just convince you to just be like a mushroom? Are they going to convince you to do that, or are they going to trick you into it? Well, they've tricked people into it. Why is it that more and more people, the likes of Gary Rockwell, are wanting a farm? You want a what? You want a farm? Yes, I do. But it'd be fun to sit down and ask the question, why is it that you want a farm anyway? Give me a list of reasons why you want to do this. Aren't you retirement age? Shouldn't you be, just playing with the grandkids and stuff? Instead, you're out working yourself into a sweat, having to spend all this time and energy building up a homestead. Are you out of your mind? So why is that happening? Why is that happening? And we're seeing a lot of people from other career fields. Gary's out of engineering, and he comes into farming. That's not typical. That's not typical. A lot of engineers, when they retire, they get themselves an airplane or a boat, or they move to the country and build their dream house, a little log house to live in. But farming? You want to build a farm and you want to mess around with balers and tractors and animals and manure? See, that's different. But why is that happening? Well, I go back to the age of enlightenment. Why have we been steered away from farming? Why is that? Right? And is there one answer for it? I don't think so. I think there's many answers, and we can give an answer, but is that it? To me, like today, with the dog days of summer on me, it's a spiritual issue. Like my spirit is kind of beat down for some reason. I pull in the driveway and I got to get out of the truck, and it just seems like, drudgery. I'm not thinking far enough ahead. And I think when you disconnect people from their food, there's a spiritual gap. So when a guy like Gary and Belva Rockwell decide, well, we could retire, we could go to Cape Cod and get a place on the beach. No, let's get some sheep. It's sort of a dichotomy. It's sort of a dichotomy in a way. And that's what they do. You've got to ask the question, why? What is happening here? Why are they doing that? I know them, and they're not, well, the world's going to collapse tomorrow, so we've got to have our own food supply. That's not it. That's part of it. I mean, they're securing their own food, but it's not to me, I don't read them as the hardcore prepper type farmer. And a lot of times preppers are not farmers. They're beans, bullets, and Band-Aid type people, and they just kind of stock stuff up and work on their web gear, and sight in their AR-15s and stuff. I've never thought that was, well, I shouldn't say never. I mean, there was a time when I thought, yeah, we got to have a control tower here. We've got to have fire control, got to get the claymores out for about a minute. And then I thought, that's not really what this is. This is opting out of a system that has been very untruthful to us and not wanting to waste the energy that it would take me to change the system. I'm just going to opt out. I'm just going to do my own thing. And as it turned out, 20 years later, if you looked at it from nothing but a financial point of view, it was probably the best move I've made, because the price of land has just gone through the roof. You put together a system on a farm, that land prices has gone up, and you have a system. Now you have a business, and it's a business that can sustain itself. Now you've got something. Whereas if you had a salary job and you were knocking down, $150,000, $200,000 a year, there's a lot of expense that goes with that, and you would have to take that money and invest it correctly. And where do you do that? What do you do? Beat bullets and Band-Aids? I don't know. So from a prepper point of view, the idea would be to be able to be self-sustaining or more self-sustaining. So in our case, on the horizon for us is we're going to get off the grid. Nowadays, the technology is there. It is there to do that. There's some life adjustments that come with it, but really we're so wasteful with electricity anyway. We'd be better off if you go in a room and instead of flicking a light on, you pull a flashlight out. Like, I don't need to light the whole room. I only came in here to get my bathing suit. I don't need to light the whole room. So on and on that goes. But like if you're tied into the grid, well, now you're going to have an electric bill coming in every month. Or how about if you heat your house with electricity? Now it's going to be a fat bill every month. So you've got to take care of that first. Where when we go off the grid, my plan right now is to have solar and then a backup generator. And you can get into a generator, a good generator, real good, lot of life, for under $5,000. A diesel, 14,000 watts. You can get a nice one that is going to go for a long, long time, and then that engine can be overhauled, and you can keep going. And people think, well, I don't want to hear a generator running all day. Well, I don't really either, but I wouldn't run it all day. I would run it enough to bring everything up to cold in the summertime, might run a little bit more in the summertime, and make sure the batteries are topped off. And then some days you're not going to have to turn it on because it's bright and sunny and your solar is loading your batteries at just as quick as you can use it. And then you adjust your lifestyle, like instead of having an electric clothes dryer, have a propane, or only use the propane one when you're not using the line, you know, and then involve everybody in laundry detail instead of just one person, mom. That's not fair. I've never really liked that. I need to do something about that. I wonder if she's listening. Normally, we all kind of pitch in. I say we, probably not me, but, you know, I just don't. I'm not against it. I'm just usually doing something else. Yeah, wood powered generator. That's an interesting subject right there. And I wouldn't mind going there. I even have a methane digester that I'm testing right now. And, you know, making our own methane is definitely doable too. Oh, the puppy just came in. The puppy is no longer just a puppy. He's getting pretty big. Hey, hey, hey. And he's grabbing stuff off the table. Oh, he's pulling on the cord here. Hey! Oh. Oh, we're still on. He grabbed the cable, the internet cable, and you know, puppies just grab stuff and just walk off with it. That's what he did, and he was taking it right out the door. He would have pulled the computer right off the table here. He's a good boy. He's in training right now. He hangs out with the two big boys, and he's going to be taking Obi's place. Obi's up around 10 or 12 years old, so we don't expect him to be around forever. So, all right. So what do we got? We got the ghost saying. The ghost is saying aversion to government control. That division of labor I mentioned is an advantage on a crew, but the government capitalizes on it and made people dependent on them. Yeah, but you know, it's okay. I can identify with that. I can. And it is outrageous, right? It is outrageous. But what do? You know, we can spend a lot of time being outraged, or you can say, well, how do I make this storm pass over me? Right? How do I make this storm pass over me? I sat down with a couple people the other day, and they had milked cows for a long time, 20 years. And they went on and on and on about the failure that they experienced. And it was, well, because the USDA wanted us to do this. They wanted us to limit our production, and they wanted us to feed like this. They wanted us to feed this, and, you know, on and on and on. No, you joined up. You joined up to their game, and you didn't have the experience to see they're going to run you into the ground, you know. And they were telling me this story. I just got a little thing there that says error. Am I still on? They're telling me this story, and I'm thinking, yeah, but you could have done this, and you could have done this, and you could have done this. And that's the key, not to get outraged over a very inefficient, bloated, unprofessional government system that we have, like the Department of Agriculture, you name it. That's the dumping ground, you know, for non-productive people that just need a job. You don't have to opt in to their shtick. You don't have to play their game. They can't make you play their game. But they use things like threats, intimidation, and then they have the carrot that they put out in front of you too. Don't do it. Just don't do it. And then you don't get outraged by it. You don't get outraged. And outrage is an emotion that I think keeps people from being all they can be. The Epstein list. Pam Bondi said she was going to release it, and then she didn't. I'm outraged. And then you discuss it with your friends. You go on Facebook and fight with people over it. What a waste of time. Whereas when they release that list, are you going to be on it? No. Then go weed your garden. Do something productive. And that's where I have landed. It's like I'm going to put energy into the things that are going to affect this operation and my family in general. And when I watch that, it's sort of like, we have a couple of TV shows that we like. One of them is Monk. If you've not seen it, it's really fun. And when you're watching it, you're kind of into it, and you think, well, who killed the guy? No, I don't think he killed him. I think it was him. And you get into it. It's a script. It's a rerun. But it kind of takes you away. It's fun, But it's sort of like this. Oh, Pam Bondi. And now Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, they got him. They got him dead to rights. They got Obama this time. They're going to lock him up. Yeah, well, what if they don't? You're going to be outraged. There is no law and order in this country anymore, you'll say. I don't know. I mean, I think it would be fun too to see old Obama in handcuffs, but it just seems like they're setting people up for a big outrage. Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino has seen things that he will never be the same again, but I can't tell you what they are. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. And even if he has, maybe he's going to tell us at some point, I don't know. But getting outraged is not a good thing. It's better to just sidestep it and do your own thing, right? And so I tried to tell these people a bunch of times, well, you could do this. You still have your land. You still have your milking parlor. You don't like the life that you're leading right now. You could go back and you could milk 10 or 12 cows on shares and make good money and get your debts paid down, but no, they're just going to revel in the outrage. Okay. But like you're saying, Ghost, yeah, that division of labor and all that stuff, but I'm not even participating in that. They have no control here, and they don't seek to gain control where people are saying, no, thanks, because they've got enough people that are saying, control me. Oh, I want the grants. Oh, we should be able to do this. Oh, we should be able to do that. And then I tell you what, let's protest. Let's go into town and beep our horns and protest. Yeah, that always works. No, stay home and do something productive. Split wood, get ready for winter. Do all that stuff. Because if everything goes your way politically, it's not really going to change the fact that you've got to get your wood in for the winter. If you don't, you're going to be cold, or you're going to be poor because you'll use your electric heater that you'll have to pay. Then the ghost says, Pat says wood powered generator, and I think I was commenting, yeah, I'm open to that type of thing, that alternate stuff. But for right now, a diesel generator, they're cheap. Diesel fuel is cheap, even though you think it isn't. It is cheap. And you can get started. The solar panels that they have right now, I'm told by a friend guy I've known for a long time, and he's in that business, and he says they're just selling off the stock of the stuff that's been imported into the country. The new stuff that's coming out is twice as efficient. Twice as efficient, right? Build a small shack for your generator. I don't think it would be too loud. No, it's not. No, where my generator go, I have a generator. I have a diesel generator. So I've got some of the components already. And I kind of know a lot about generators. I worked with them in the military quite a bit. And you got to use them. So every now and then we'll just shut everything down and load that generator, load it right down and let it run for a few hours. It sips diesel fuel. So yeah. And I don't mind the sound. I'm generating my own power. Okay, it's got a sound. Okay, so it's not like open headers on a dragster or anything. It's just a rumble, and it's nothing to worry about. I think you're right. I think at some point I would want to get it inside and revet the building a little bit and really quiet it down. I'm going to have it so that I can remote start it from the house too. I would like to do that. So when I want to make coffee in the morning, I just start the generator. Now my batteries are charging, and I'm making coffee at the same time. And if we wanted to cook something, we could. But my plan is to go to all propane. I want to go propane stove. Jill likes it better. Propane dryer. Propane water heater. I tell you what, we have been using an on-demand, it's called a Rhini. It's an on-demand water heater. And we use the water in the milk house and in the butcher shop for cleaning. And you can set it to go 140 degrees. And it is 140 degrees. You can burn yourself with it. And I'm going to install one of those in the house. And I don't need as big a one and use propane. And it doesn't really use very much. It's not noticeable. I tell you what uses a lot of propane is those heaters, Keith, like that heater that you gave me. Those things suck down the propane. Man. Yeah, Pat says biochar product. It certainly is. Wood gas is a going concern. We produce a lot of wood gas. We use it to heat to run the retort though. And on some occasions I've stolen some of it just to do experiments with, and the retort still works. So I know I'm producing way more wood gas than I need. And that stuff can be run through a cooler. It can be cleaned, and then it can be compressed into tanks. So you can do it for sure. The Ghost says, you just got to cut the government out of it. I'm not outraged, just answering. Okay, well, get testy with me. I was outraged. No, I was talking about myself. I was outraged. The government. Well, it's different. Canadians have a far more intrusive government, but some of the Canadians that I know, they just kind of do their own thing, and there's not enough government wieners to catch up with everybody in what they're doing. Maybe things have changed. It's been a long time. Yeah, the truckers up in Canada, the trucker convoy and the protest. But I don't know as they went far enough. They should have just parked the trucks. But then the government froze their assets. So it wasn't an effective means of protest. Here in the States, if the truckers stopped, but you have companies that are not going to sacrifice profits for political gain. So I don't know as that would work. I think Trump's done a bunch of things that are pretty good. So I'm watching him daily to see what he's doing. The guy's got a lot of energy and he seems pretty motivated. And unless it's some sort of scam, it doesn't look like it. All of them, like here in Michigan, they closed down 4 abortion clinics. 4 of them. They've defunded NPR and PBS, so we don't know how long they'll last. To keep going, you ever listen to NPR? It's comical, but to keep going, it seems as though the liberals are going to have to start kicking money in to keep it going. I just assume it just totally goes away. Do you ever notice every single man that's on NPR sounds like he's gay? It's incredible. All right. Well, I went a little further. It's 9:17. You prompted me to run my mouth a little bit. I'm going to take a break now and go get something to eat and call it a day. Appreciate everybody coming by. Appreciate all the thumbs ups. The ghost, the real muscle was the truckers that were shutting down the Alberta border. The media didn't say much about that. They prefer people don't know. Yeah, that's true. The media, right? What's happening with the media now in the States? I'm not sure if this is going on in Canada. I have no way of knowing, and I haven't heard anything about it. But the media in the States is irrelevant. They can say whatever they want. Anybody that's still listening to NBC News are irrelevant. They're irrelevant people. People are getting their news from other sources way, way more. And they're seeking out what sounds like truth to them. You know, look at all the media people that are gone now. You know, there's just so many of them that are gone. And I heard something about The View has taken a hiatus. What's with that? Taking a break? No, they're going to axe that stupid show. Those women are so inept, so foolish. And they're going to, I guess Colbert, they're shutting him down. He was an idiot anyway. And Jimmy Kimmel will be next. And, you know, people just don't want that stuff anymore. And, yeah, USAID has been shut down. So all of those funds that were going out to all these communist, you know, sympathizing outfits, that's gone. All that money's gone. So if you want to see something really funny, old Trump showed up at the Federal Reserve building, and the chairman of the Federal Reserve, his name is Jerome Powell, and he's kind of a gay-looking little guy, and Trump's walking around with him, looking at the bill, like Trump knows that stuff, and he says, "So, how far over budget have you run?" And he says, "Well, not too bad. We're in pretty good shape." Trump pulls out a sheet of paper, and he says, "Well, I just got this today. Looks like you're about 1.6 over budget. What's with that? Where is this money going?" And Powell's just stuttering, like he doesn't know what to say. Yeah. So it looks like things are coming back into line. Trump is doing what he said. I know that the border is shut down. They're not coming across. In border states, they're not leaving. Up here in the north, they are leaving. I heard that from a very good source of a guy that works at a place where they employ a lot of them in a big freezer house, and they're just not showing up for work. They're just gone. And the reason for that is they're being told that if you leave now, you can get in line to get back in legally. But if we have to come get you, you're never coming back in. So a lot of the illegal immigrants from South America and Mexico, they're sold a bill of goods of how great it is in the States. And then when they get here, well, the money's good, but it's not real friendly to them. And I think when a lot of them go home, they're going to be like, I don't want to go back. So that's going to change the landscape too. We're going to be hurting for labor. Oh yeah, this was pretty sad if you guys didn't hear about it. There was a guy this weekend at a Walmart that pulled out a buck knife. I used to have one just like it, and came up behind people and just opened them up, stabbed people. He stabbed like 11 people. Nobody died. Turns out, I've read a lot of commentaries on this because I wanted to know what his motivation was. He was not a Allah Akbar type. He was a white guy, grew up locally here in Pellston, and he was mentally ill. And we do not have insane asylums anywhere in Michigan. They closed them down. Inhumane, they said. And they just kind of turned people loose. And there's dollars available if people want to build facilities to house them, but not a lot of dollars. You know, it takes a lot of intense care for people that are insane. So this guy was insane, and he hurt 11 people. Some of them were elderly people. And then a Marine, an ex-Marine black dude with dreadlocks, cornered him. And this guy is holding the gun like this. He's holding a Glock 19 on him like this. And he's like, drop that knife or I'm going to have to kill you. And the guy did drop the knife. Police got him. And this Marine with a gun, not an ex-Marine, but not active duty Marine. He had been an active duty guy. They say once a Marine, always Marine, which I think is true. He saved the day. Is an absolute hero. But the news kind of downplayed him, you know, because he was a guy with a gun that saved lives. He actually did. Big time sheepdog. Big time. Because he could have just, no, let's go get in the car and leave, honey. We don't. But he risked his own hide to keep other people safe. I think he was just passing through. I think they were here on vacation, just going through. That's what I gather. But some of the commentary I read was not good. And they're saying that this is just the canary in the coal mine because there are so many criminally insane people. And you know that there's a lot of pressure on society right now. And a guy like him might not know why, but he's just getting pressure from the next level up. And so, and I know that to be the case because I observe people and people are under pressure. I'm not sure if it's just financial, but I know that's a big part of it. People are having a tough time. Yeah. Eggs are cheap, though. All right, I'm going to get going. All right. We'll see you guys next week. See our consulting people tomorrow night on the Zoom call, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Get out there and make it happen. Remember, anyone can farm.